Good morning, fish keepers. It is Friday the 10th of May. Come with me and a day in the life of running a tropical fish store. Yeah! It's a fitting place to be standing in front of the Lake Tanganyika tank, as this morning we are having the privilege of speaking to Pam Chin, an African cichlid and cichlid in general, an African cichlid specialist. You can catch it up on YouTube and Facebook. The replay will definitely be on YouTube. Well and truly will be worth watching if you're into African cichlids. The temperatures are really beginning to plummet here at the moment, as we are just about leading into winter. We're about a month away, so I'm going to run through everything today, do some temperature checks, add some heaters as required. There'll definitely be some tanks that need some, there'll be some that we won't have to put too many into, so we'll just go through, do some temperature checks all the way through the facility and see what needs them and see which ones don't. So that's on the agenda today. I'm also going to target cleaning up in through here. Since we've got all the other stuff in just recently, it's become a bit of a dumping site. So we'll get all that sorted through here, I think, make it nice and tidy. On the list of things to do, as always, cleaning is a never-ending job, as we can see, but we're going to ignore that side today. We're just going to work in this corner through here. Got to put a bit more time into the pea puffer tank today. Substrates, more research, get a little hardscape and start playing around with that. So that's on my agenda as well. And the lights are off so we can't see, but the second half of the rack I want to do water changes, cleaning up and get it all sorted for the weekend. So that'll be my wet hand work there. And that, I think, is probably going to be the best part of my working day done. So, let's get it on! Windows have begun crying, so it's time to get my Karcher window vacuum out. Oh yeah! This is going to be our daily task for the next couple of months. But that's okay. If you don't have one of these, I think you should get them, they're awesome. Quick and easy. Fish keeper's favourite tool. Just finished with our time with Pam and it went really well. Incredible fish keeper, phenomenal knowledge, and she was more than willing to share it, which was fantastic. I know we don't sell a lot of African cichlids or deal with a lot of African cichlids, however, this is something I am passionate about. It is a species or a variety of fish that I started my fish keeping journey with, so it's always fun to talk about them. So if you are an African cichlid keeper, it's well and truly worth watching that, checking out on YouTube. That's just under the live stream or into the podcast section, so yeah. Let's chip on to the day! Right, it's time to start playing with heating. 15.1 degrees. We're doing tickety-boo. 24, heater's obviously on in there. 17, going okay. 17, going okay. 16. So we can see tropical fish, or some species of tropical fish, have a far wider variety of temperature range than others. Some can handle being in the teens, some can't handle being in the teens. Anyway, today's job is to play around with the heaters, get everything sort of going. Let's get everything in and around about the early 20s for the best part. Yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so we've got the heaters in for the best part. This is why we had this multi-plug box put in over the summertime. Haven't got one through here. One through here yet. Need an extension cord, which I don't have. Got these ones all covered. These are all basically done. Might chuck another one in, that Panda one. But it means all the lights have come out because I need the plugs. I'd rather keep them warm than see them. All sorted through here. This one was really easy because it's all kind of set up and designed for that anyway. So these are all done. All of them are done through here except for these two here, one in the middle there, and these two here, so 3. Get a multi-box because there's a plug down there. That'll be that rack sorted. These guys are all done, all plugged in, again on that big multi-plug setup there, so that's all sorted, that's all sorted. I didn't realise I didn't have any plugs, any heaters in there. So I'll chuck a couple heaters in there, plug them in. And the only other rack that needs work, that doesn't have work, is this one here. Top 3 have all got heaters sorted. These bottom 6 don't. It's a bit of a spaghetti junction, so I need a multi-box and possibly an extension cord. But I'll work through that in the next day or two. Make that a high priority. It's just a bit tricky and hard because the plug's down under there. And there's a couple that come over through here. And everything sort of happens in back down here. So it makes life quite awkward and difficult to work on. Not impossible, just awkward and difficult, so I need a little bit of time to figure that one out. But other than that, everything should have heaters in there, everything should be nice and warm now. Warm is good. Should mean that coming in to this back room facility it's a little bit warmer in the morning as well. And watch for my power bill to skyrocket. That's alright. Right, next task. Alright, it's taken a couple of days for me to deal with this because I'm still quite frustrated, pissed off and annoyed at myself for making such a blunder. I know we all lose fish, it is part and parcel of the game, but I feel 100% and solely responsible for this, and I'm still pretty pissed off at myself. But we're going to clear these out, we're going to start again, we'll give it another go, and I apologise for the 4 fish that I killed. Well, I think we can say that this was also an epic fail. It's alright, we'll try again another day. Yep. Not sure what went wrong there, but like I said, we'll try again another day and see how we go. A coffee machine shut the bed this morning, which really frustrated me as we're leading into our Fanatics Friday coffee date. Just got it working again, so I'm pretty happy with that. But I don't think I needed to get that much coffee in one cup. Oh well, time to jump on the computer, do a bit more research on pea puffers. Just want to nail in a bit of hardscape and substrate work. Once I've done that, we'll start putting some stuff in it. Water changes! Are you ready? Algae scraping! Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Maintenance is done. Well, halfway done. I've still got to fill it up and all that other stuff. But we're getting there, so that's a good start. Okay, so I've made a wee decision. I've decided I'm going to set this up slightly differently to how I normally would set up a fish tank. Away from the concept of a biotope per se. So I'm going to fill this with epiphytes, predominantly on this wood. Nubius and Java ferns, probably more likely just a Nubius species. And then I'll possibly put some Vallisneria up the back, or some Balansa up the back, and maybe another species or 2 of Crypts around the front. So that's kind of where I'm heading with that. Possibly some Ambulia, and maybe some Ludwigia, but I'm not entirely sure on that. It's a small tank, so I can't cram too much in there. But that's kind of where I'm going. So I mean, no CO2, low light, low tech, all that kind of jazz. So I've literally just grabbed a piece of wood. Quite a cool piece of wood, I might add, but I've just literally grabbed a piece of wood that I had sunk in the clownloach tank and dumped it in here. So the problem that I now have as far as the Anubias goes is this. I've actually got a lot of Anubias hanging around. Like, quite a lot. There's plenty in here. As we can see, there is Anubias in these tanks. Sorry. There's Anubias over the other side with the guppies. It's kind of everywhere. But the problem is I don't know what most of it is, because it's just been dumped, and I've done dumb stuff and just sort of leaving it floating. I know what this one is, but like I've just sort of left it floating, and often it's been chewed up or gotten really small from its original state. So there's a slight issue there. I've got all sorts of variants of Anubias, particularly in here, since I put the green Severums in here, they've been chewing at them. And I'll show you another wee example of that. So these 4 bits here all came directly off that piece of wood that I've chucked in that tank already. So I don't really know what they are, but they're attached, not via glue. Looked like I wedged them in. Must have been probably a couple of years back, probably maybe a little less than that. But I'm not entirely sure what they are. And so I've got a lot of species like that of Anubias hanging around. There'll be gold coin. There'll be Barterai, Anubias gold, Nana, which I'll be able to pick. Afazili. There'll be a couple other ones hanging around. I've got a relatively extensive collection, at least of rhizomes now. So the question is, how do I escape that without knowing what it is and if it's going to grow too big or grow too small into this tank? Or too high or too low for where I'm positioning it. These are the dilemmas that I have to go through now. For the record, by no stretch of the imagination do I consider myself an aquascaper. Have I ever called myself an aquascaper, and have I ever pretended to be an aquascaper? I'm just a dude that likes getting my hands wet playing with fish tanks. I can't scape for shit. Anywho, back working on this pea puffer tank. Next thing I'm thinking is how much of this sort of stand where the filter came from can I hook out to put this light underneath. If I do it that way, we might get blinded. So like, can I hook out like this big section here, which will then allow this to be open a bit more? Actually, while I'm talking, it's not going to work anyway. So I was thinking if I hooked all this out here through here, I could have some nice bits of Anubias or something coming up and out of the tank. But it's still going to be too tight in there with the light there. The light has to kind of sit over here, sort of thing, for that to be open and off for Anubias to be able to come out here. So that might not work anyway, but a few more things for me to ponder replay. Was going to canister filter it because I love canister filters, but maybe with a bit of gentle persuasion I might be able to chuck a hang on back on here and then have this kind of, excuse the camera work, sitting over top like that. Again, for that to happen I'm going to have to hook out a little bit of this, but that's okay. I'm on the hooking, breaking, cutting buzz anyway, so that could be an option. That could be an option as far as filtration goes for this. I was going to put some of this black and white rock in this tank because I sort of want to try and hide some of these angles, which eventually I'll probably do with plants. But the more I look at it, the more I just don't like it. I can't sort of see a way that it works, so I'm going to go away from that and I might see if I can find a different rock to play with in here. Now I've given myself a dilemma. Do I use this piece of wood here? Or option B? Option A's got way more texture going to it. Option B is a little bit more plain, but it's a little bit smaller. Still gives a nice bit of height, but not super duper height. Which will probably allow me to add a little bit more wood to cascade out and through and around it a little bit more, or rock if I go with that. What do you reckon? A or B? I'm not too sure now.